Shadow and Rouge make it back to their rendezvous point, and Eggman shows up. Man, this guy is everywhere. Eggman asks for the scepter, and he doesn't even give them a second to respond. He just summons more of his robots. And this wasn't to persuade them to hand it over. They're hostile, because one of them shoots a rocket right at them. Doesn't this seem like the type of guy you would want to do business with? Eggman punches Rouge as he drops the scepter, causing it to break. But don't worry, Rouge didn't break any of her bones. Shadow caught her. The scepter then absorbs Shadow. Oh ha ha ha, very clever. And it becomes Mephiles, a recolor if I ever saw one. Of course, he is voiced by the legendary Dan Green. People complain about Mephiles having no mouth, but he's literally a living shadow. Do shadows have physical mouths? I don't think so. Mephiles teleports them into the future, the same future that Silver came from. Meanwhile, Silver sees Sonic and Soliana and goes right after him without even thinking first. This is a character battle. In Sonic's story you fight Silver, and in Silver's story you fight Sonic, but in my opinion, Silver should gain the upper hand in this fight due to how much there is to use around the area. But no matter which story it is, the same thing happens, just a different starting point for the next cutscene. So how about we go with Silver's? He has Sonic on the ground, heavily breathing, and Elise gets kidnapped again because, God forbid, she can't defend herself. Sonic runs to save her, but Silver shoots him with his powers. And, why can't you do that in the game? But before he can beat him up some more, Amy arrives to defend him. Sonic asks Amy if she can handle this, and she says yes. In the Japanese version. In English, Sonic just runs off before Amy says anything. I guess 4Kids dubbed this cutscene. Amy is confused about Silver attacking Sonic, and he tries to tell Amy that he's the one responsible for destroying his future, but Amy refuses to believe him. And then we get this ridiculous line. You have got to be kidding me with that line. It's so stupid that I love it. Silver is now just chilling out in the Soliana New City, and Blaze finally finds him. He asks her if it's right to kill someone to save the world, and with some pretty bad lip syncing to add on top of it too. Blaze basically says that she doesn't know, but what she does know is that if they don't take this chance, the future will remain the same way. Since Sonic is after Eggman, Silver decides to go into his base. During gameplay, Tails tells you to meet Knuckles at the warehouse, so they travel there, and Knuckles has a holographic letter from Eggman. This is just like Sonic Heroes. He says that if they want the princess back, then they must give him their Chaos Emerald in his base at White Acropolis. The same exact place that Silver is going. Alright, to be fair, one of them must have gotten there before the others, so I can excuse them not running into each other. They show up in the base, give him the Chaos Emerald, and... It's a trap! It's also no use. He traps them in this force field and gives them a small taste of his machine. It's just a prototype. He needs Elise's power to finish it. Here, have it some Call Me Johnny clip.
Who knows where they'll end up? It could be in the distant past or far future.
Eggman tells her they're not dead yet. How do you know that? They could wind up at a point in time where there's no oxygen or anything really. In all respect though, he may just be telling her that so she wouldn't get all worked up over it like Sarah does in the Sonic movie. And for the record, I don't like Elise, but Sarah is much worse. Shadow and Rouge are in the futuristic computer room. Sadly, no Vector to be found at all in this game. Not even a slight reference. Using the computer room... Okay, I'll stop now. Using this random computer, they find out that they're still in Eggman's base, 200 years in the future. Or possibly even more. Then, how does this thing still work? Yeah, whatever, this is a Sonic game after all, so I'll let it slide. Team Sonic are then dropped right outside of where the other two are. And We hear that darn long time no seen line again. They talk about using chaos control in order to blow this popsicle stand, but that alone is insufficient. Silver finally arrives, and...
Looks like we've arrived a little too late.
You bet you did. You're just getting here? Come on, step it up. One of Eggman's robots show up to deal with them, but it's not the Egg Cerberus this time, it's the Egg Genesis. After defeating it, a Chaos Emerald is on the ground. I guess it was in the ship, and Blaze describes it as a lucky charm. Amy is trying to find Sonic, but instead finds herself in Eggman's base. How did she even get there? I guess Eggman forgot to lock the cell door, and Elise just walks out with no problem. So Amy escorts her to safety, as if anything is really safe for her. While they're back in the Soliana New City, they just talk about Sonic, but they don't know that they're talking about him. It's quite a weird conversation, but Elise gets kidnapped again. Come on! There really is no such thing as safety for you! You may as well be better off concealed in your castle your whole entire life! Alright, it's time for the story to start going somewhere again. Team Sonic are walking down a hallway, and... Oh hey, what's that? Did someone leave the refrigerator open? They look inside and see Silver talking to Mephiles. It's when he was telling him about the Iblis trigger earlier. After they teleport away, Tails checks the computer, and apparently Eggman's ship crashed, killing him and Elise. Sonic says that if they don't return in time, the two of them are doomed. Wrong! You can time travel. Just go back to, like, any point in time. But I'm nitpicking right now, so I'm just gonna stop myself right there. Meanwhile, with Shadow and Rouge, Rouge finds a Chaos Emerald, and they stumble upon Omega, who is in standby mode. Rouge gets a call, and it's from someone from Team Sonic, and they tell her that they found something, so they're gonna meet up somewhere. They all meet up, and Rouge shows them the Chaos Emerald, and Tails tells them about a signal indicating that there is an emerald inside a volcano, which takes us into what is probably my least favorite level in the game. I'm sorry, Premi de Remy, but I fail to see why this is the best level in the game, but I'll talk about the gameplay later. God, we're still talking about the story? Not to complain, but can this end already? Also, Shadow has the better line here. So after the worst level in the game, Rouge finds a Chaos Emerald, but it's another trap, and awakens the Iblis tapeworm. I have no idea what this boss fight is supposed to be. This boss fight is a terrible one. It's the worst part of the game. I'd rather be playing through Flame Core again than fight this, but again, more about the gameplay later. After giving it a headache, they get the Chaos Emerald and use Chaos Control to go back to Soliana New City, but Shadow sees Mephiles behind him and goes after him, thus leaving Shadow behind. Rouge gets concerned about him not tagging along, and she gets a call from G-Wen, and they ask if she's got the Book of Darkness? Yeah, that was an error. When the game was in development, they weren't sure what to call the scepter. They had 3 different names: the Book of Darkness, the Scepter of Darkness, or Tears of the Sun. When the game was being translated into English, some lines were recorded before the script was actually complete, so that's why they call it a book in this cutscene. She tells the person that she needs to find Omega immediately. Team Sonic return as well and find a newspaper on the ground, and I swear, this is the last time I use Sub Call Me Johnny.
Wait, what did that paper say? Wait, I'm curious. What did the paper say? Oh, let me see. It doesn't leave about restoration expecting it?
Rouge finds Omega in tropical jungle, and I thought it was impossible to give a robot a bad voice, but this game proves me wrong. It makes my ears bleed every time I hear it, and here's the reason why it sucks. Here's Omega and Sonic here. Here's him in Shadow the Hedgehog.
Are you the original? If you You are searching for Eggman. He's fleeing aboard his airship, the Egg Balloon. If you wish to confront him, then help me ground his vessel.
Also, keep in mind, this game uses the 4Kids voice cast. So did Shadow the Hedgehog. And Omega's voice in Shadow was a great sound alike that makes me wonder why they didn't just keep John St. John. And don't say that if the voice cast changes, they can't keep a single actor. The modern games from 2010 to the present are using a new voice cast, yet they still kept Mike Pollock as Eggman. And I get that Shadow came out before those games, but what's that game's excuse? This reminds me of an episode of Regular Show where Mordecai is watching a movie about robots, but when one of them speaks, he face palms. Copyright of Cartoon Network, by the way. Voice aside, Rude tells Omega to give the Chaos Emerald she has to Shadow, so he accepts the mission. I know that robots don't have a gender, but I'm still going to refer to Omega as a him. Saying it would sound really weird. While that was happening, Mephiles was trying to convince Shadow to join the dark side, but of course Shadow declines because he's had enough of that trash in the last game. Mephiles then transforms and they duke it out for a bit until Omega shows up to assist, so they do it again, and of course the real superpower of teamwork prevails. Mephiles retreats in a time portal which Shadow and Omega also travel through. Mephiles is no longer in Soliana, but Omega will help him track him down. During gameplay, a GUN agent calls you and tells you that Rouge would like to meet with them at the warehouse. So that's what they do. Omega asks who Mephiles is and what Eggman is up to, and Shadow is gonna ask him. Silver asks Mephiles who the Iblis Trigger really is and why he wants to destroy the world, with Mephiles replying with, "Why does that matter to you? You must stay focused. Sonic is headed towards the train station, so good luck. Time to ballerina spin off screen." Shadow catches Eggman straight and he asks him who Mephiles is and why he's trying to capture him. He answers saying that it's linked to the Soliana disaster 10 years ago. Eggman says that if Shadow captures Mephiles, he'll tell him the truth about Solaris. Sonic and Shadow are there at the same time, yet they don't run into each other. Earlier, it was passable, but this time, there's no excuse for that. Sonic rescues Elise, and Silver attacks Sonic. Elise gets kidnapped again. Oh, come on! It wasn't even 60 seconds! So Shadow shows up. Oh, now you're here? It took you long enough. Sonic runs away, again leaving Shadow to deal with him. And, oh, trust me, Shadow can deal with him. Brilliant! I'll never get tired of this. 20 Fat Hill better make a 10-hour version. Viacom won't care. I do actually think that Shadow is the victor of this fight, but anyway, Silver says that he won't give up, so he pulls out his emerald, and they both perform chaos control. So Silver gets angry and yells about changing the past, so Shadow tells him that Mephiles is trying to create a better future, and that he should follow him if he wants the truth. Yeah, follow me on Twitter and Google+. Wait a minute. That Shadow account you followed on Google+ isn't mine. That's Sally Puppy 1234566 1000th account. They're in the past now. Things explode, so they check it out. Iblis and Mephiles are to escape, so they split up to chase after each of their targets. Shadow seals Mephiles in the scepter, and the Duke seals Iblis inside of Elise, and if she cries, then Mephiles will be released and destroy the future. Okay, this is a major plot hole. I know that every reviewer ever has mentioned this, but how did she not cry for all that time? This better be something that is fixed in the fan-made Sonic 06 PC port. In the port it'll still be the same game, but a few things will be tweaked, and occasionally extra level set pieces will be used, but trust me, when this thing comes out, it will be the definitive version of 06.